prior to running Profit First, I would struggle to come up with the cash to pay my estimated quarterly tax payments. One of the things that I had to learn from Profit First is the difference between cash flow and profit.
Cash flow is what you use to run your business. Profit is that portion of your revenue that you get to keep for yourself to do with what you want. People tend to just lump both of those into the same bucket.
Yeah.
And it's not, because by the end of the year, basically, you see that bucket of money in your revenue and your expenses basically expand until it consumes all of that bucket. Having something in place that keeps you organized and disciplined goes a long way.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Landscaper's Guide podcast. Today I'm here with Jeff Heller, who's on the board of directors at SIMA, and he's also a certified Profit First professional. So we're going to talk about cash flow and profit and management for snow and landscape companies. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I've been in the industry since 2005, started with a national maintenance provider, spent about 7 years there, went out on my own, formed my own company, Snow Landscaping, and some other ancillary services. And so been doing that now almost 13 years. Been involved with SIMA, a member of SIMA since 2005. As you mentioned, I sit on the board of directors. I also am in my last year on the foundation board of directors. For the last 2 years, I've been a Profit First professional with the Green Executive out of St. Louis.
Okay, great. And so first of all, what is Profit First? If you could explain it in a nutshell for our snow and landscape company owners who are listening, what is Profit First?
Well, you know, it's essentially an accountability system. Our motto is make profit a habit, not an event. Mm-hmm. And it teaches business professionals, and we just happen to work with landscape and snow professionals, how to rearrange how they think about money and cash flow to where they would put profit first, and teach them that it basically that an owner's pay is not profit, and that that seems to be the thing they struggle with the most is how they don't know where their money goes. They meet with their accountant at the end of the year. The accountant said you were profitable, and they say, but I have no money in my checking account. Where am I profitable? Right. So this is a system that teaches you how to segment your money and put profit first.
Yeah, so I've personally been using Profit First for 8 years. Mm-hmm. And prior to running Profit First, I would struggle to come up with the cash to pay my estimated quarterly tax payments. And I didn't have enough profit to consistently take a distribution. And more importantly, I didn't have the cash.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I had to learn from Profit First is the difference between cash flow and profit. I think this is a confusing topic. I'm actually working on teaching my leadership team about it because they are having more insight into my business financials, and they're incentivized by it. Could you tell us what's the difference between profit and cash flow?
Well, cash flow is what you use to run your business. Profit is that portion of your revenue that you get to keep for yourself to do with what you want. And people tend to just lump both of those into the same bucket.
Yeah.
And it's not, because by the end of the year, basically, you see that bucket of money in your revenue and your expenses basically expand until it consumes all of that bucket. Profit First will teach you how to organize and put money in an operating expense budget, a tax budget. You just mentioned that you would always get hamstrung when your estimated tax payment came due. This, you have a separate account for taxes that you contribute to.
Yeah. So it's June 19th. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you know that estimated quarterly tax payments were due on June 16th this week.
Yes.
And so I paid mine on time. And so the way that I did that was what you're talking about. You have 5 bank accounts with Profit First. You have an income account where all your money goes into it. And then from that, you transfer a percentage into your tax tax account,
Tax account.
profit account,
Yep.
and a tax hold account. And then I have a fifth one. I call it my beaver pond. This is where I just put a percentage into savings.
Yes.
Is that, did I say
Yes,
that right?
I mean, you can basically name the accounts whatever you want. You can have more than 5.
Yeah, totally.
I've worked with people that have 7, 8, 9 different accounts, just depending on how much they want to break down what they're contributing to. It may not be enough just to have operating expenses. They may want specific things that they're putting money into that fall under
Well,
that
so let's
bucket.
think of an example. So what might we're at the Snow and Ice Management Association Symposium, the SIMA Symposium. What might a snow company, what have you seen as far as additional bank accounts, or what are some tips and takeaways for snow companies from Profit First?
Well, I would see several of them that would use an equipment specific account for equipment, whether they're leasing or purchasing. That is just a subset of their operating expenses. They would use what they would call a catch-all account that would cover expenses that might increase during the winter season. Like, I don't know, for example, maybe salt prices increase because of a shortage. They've got the money there to cover the additional funds that are required and not have to go into another bucket to take money out for that. So those are a couple examples that I see pretty frequently.
What are some challenges that snow and landscape companies face when they're trying to get started with Profit First?
Typically in the snow environment, you're outlaying a lot of money before it ever snows.
Right.
Salt purchasing, equipment purchasing, leasing, additional labor, whatever. So that's where I see their biggest challenge. That's usually what they're asking me is, how do I account for that when I have no revenue coming in yet for snow? And it's difficult when you first get started.
Like, does it take years to get started with it? Or, I mean, how do you do that? So let's pretend that I'm getting started with it and it's June. And now we're, by the time it's October, like when are they going to buy all the salt and material and things?
Typically, they're going to buy it in the summer.
Right, they're going to buy it in the summer when I'm making no money.
No money in snow. Hopefully, you're doing something other than snow, maybe
Right.
landscaping.
Yeah.
And some of those funds would come off of that to help support getting started during the snow season. And then a lot of those folks would, as we get towards the end of the snow season, hopefully they've had a great one, they'll transfer some of that money back, basically pay back the landscaping side of their business so they could.
So do you recommend Profit First for companies that have a snow department?
Yes. I think just what we were talking about with all the expenses up front, having something in place that keeps you organized and disciplined goes a long way to easing that stress.
Well, so the discipline part of Profit First is that you're only supposed to then use money that you have in your operating expense account.
Yes.
Right? Or unless you have an equipment account or something else and it's the time of year to use it. Many people, when I describe this to them, they say, well, I could never do that because I don't have the cash flow during that time of year.
I get that. I hear that a lot. The biggest mindset change with Profit First, and was actually the most beneficial for me when I started doing it, is they define the difference between revenue, income, and real revenue. So basically that formula works is that your revenue minus your materials and what you pay subcontractors is your real revenue. That is the number that you operate your business off of.
Right.
So that is the biggest distinguisher and probably the most difficult thing to overcome.
It's a difficult concept, and I'll admit that I made a mistake in my own communication with my operations officer because I had my cash flow. I was doing my bi-weekly cash flow thing and it was working, but when we were forecasting, we had forgotten to factor in that operating expense formula.
Yes.
And so we were making forecasts based on top line revenue without factoring in what was minus, and We corrected it pretty quickly once we realized it.
That is the difference that these folks see when they go to their accountant. He says, you were profitable, but I have no money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a huge company. I do about $2 million a year in revenue. And that was the biggest mindset change me. A lot of my stuff is subcontracted. So I would operate off the mindset that I had $2 million in revenue to run my business. I didn't.
Right.
I actually had $1.2 million to run my business.
Okay, yeah, so just in round numbers, if you were subbing out 800,000 plus material expenses, yeah, you're actually working with 1.2.
Yeah, and that's the number you base your decisions off of.
Yeah.
And it is a difficult change to make. It's a difficult mind thing.
It is a difficult mind thing, and so it's literally putting the profit then first, and in the profit first, then there should be a separate line item for the owner's pay.
Yep.
As an
That's one of your
employee of the
accounts.
business.
Yes.
And that's different from the profit distributions that you're going to take.
Yes, and that's another mistake a lot of people make. They mistake the profit as their pay.
Right, and
Well,
some of it should be.
Yes.
But if that's it, then you're putting yourself in an unnecessary risk, because if you don't make enough of that profit,
exactly.
that puts you in a lot of stress with your family, paying your own bills, and the book makes you put the owner first, because if you don't, then you're going to give up, and then the whole organization goes out.
Well, yeah, basically Mike Michalowicz, who wrote the book Profit First, his big message in there is that he's changing the way people think about generally accepted accounting principles.
Yeah.
Revenue minus expenses equals profit.
Right.
Well, since profit's at the bottom, that's what you're going to think of last. So he proposed rewriting the formula so that it is revenue minus profit equals expenses. And I would take it a step further and say it's real revenue minus profit equals your expenses. So that's a big hurdle for people to overcome, but once they get there, they get real excited because they see money in that profit account growing. And at the Green Executive, we encourage them once a quarter to take some of that money and go do something fun. Not all of it. You may, when you get started, you may only have $200 in it after your first quarter, but take the family out for pizza and ice cream and enjoy something, the small wins.
Right, yeah, the small wins I think are important because it motivates you to keep doing the difficult behaviors and keep running your business.
Yep.
So what are you doing on the board?
Well, this is my third year on the board. I am the vice chair, so next year I will become the chair of the board. Doing lots of exciting things. Just came off of our first in-person board meeting of the year in Canada back in April, and we knocked out our 3-year strategic plan where we want to see the organization go. There's a lot of exciting things. We're going to be working on some accreditation programs for companies that will ultimately help them either be able to get insurance in the primary market or be able to reduce their insurance costs. So that's a big one. We're starting regional peer groups where we're hoping to get at least 10 or 20% of the members in that region to participate. We've started our first one in northwest part of the country and in western Canada.
Peer groups?
Yep, peer groups.
How often do they meet?
They are starting off, I believe, meeting monthly, but we had...
In person?
No, Zoom.
Okay, Zoom, okay.
They will try to do in-person meetings at places like the symposium.
Okay.
But we had, I think, 50 companies represented at that first peer group. So we're looking to do, I think, a total of 5, I believe.
Okay.
5 peer groups across the
That
country.
sounds so they'd be like roughly 10 to 15 or so people per peer group. That seems more manageable than 50.
Yes. So, but real excited about that.
So is that an additional service from SIMA, or do people have access to that just with their regular membership?
About a third of the people on that first peer group meeting in Norwood were not SIMA members.
Oh, really?
Yes, so it's open to anybody.
Really?
It is. So.
Wow. I didn't know about this. I know a number of people who are SIMA members and some who aren't that would really benefit from a peer group.
Yeah. Anyone's invited. I mean, obviously, we're hoping the people that are not members would be compelled to join once they get a taste of how.
Well, you just got to bring them to the
operates.
symposium,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I don't know how they couldn't join.
I beat on people all the time to get to the symposium. I got a friend of mine that I could never get him to go, and no, that's just, I think it's a waste of my time. I got him to come to Pittsburgh last year. He's back this year, and he said, you're right. I was wrong. You were right. So I think he'll be at most every symposium going forward.
So Jeff, tell me a little bit about the Leadership Forum. What is that? That's kind of SIMA's next big event, right?
Yes, that started, let's see, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th one. It's in Nashville, October 24th to the 26th this year. It's a smaller, more intimate group. You're typically going to see the business owners, VPs of companies at this group, as opposed to, the groups that show up here for the trade show. It's filled with some great nationally renowned speakers and some great events to attend. Keep it short, it's usually a couple of days, but I said it's a small, intimate group, and we have a good time, and it's great to spend time with owners of some of the companies that you see around here, but just don't get a chance to talk to everybody.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Heller, thanks for coming on the Landscaper's Guide. For folks listening who want to network with you, how can they get in touch?
I'm on LinkedIn, Jeff Heller. You can reach me at my email, jeff@thegreenexecutive.com. And if you go on my LinkedIn account, there's other ways there you can reach me. I think my phone number's out there, so anybody wants to reach out, happy to talk to them about SIMA, about Profit First, whatever they'd like to chat about.
Great. Well, thank you, Jeff.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jack.
Take care.
Thanks.
Like today's video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get upcoming videos to help you grow your snow and landscape company. My name's Jack Jostes, and check out my free resources in the show notes and click the next video to grow your business.